Thank you for joining us again on my channel at Inspire at Random. And in this video, I want to talk about careers and jobs that could possibly be good for Asperger people. Asperger individuals, which is like high functioning autism, also known as Aspies. So if you haven't already watched my previous video where I talked about like living as an Asperger individual from an adult's perspective, watch that too. But in the meantime, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so for my channel. And today I want to share with you some of these jobs and career opportunities that could be good. So perhaps you're starting out planning your life. Maybe you're between careers. Maybe you want some ideas about what you can do as an Asperger individual. So, being one myself, I know very well what are my strengths and also the things that I'm not so good at. So, first and foremost, like Aspies, Asperger individuals are very good at things that are individualistic. So anything that is like very self-functioning, careers that you don't have to report to different people, these are things that you'll be good at because it avoids social pressure, and at the same time you also work better alone. So this is something that a lot of normal people can't really do because it's not in their not in their nature to be able to independently work. They need to work in teams, but we can actually go and forge solo. So programming, that is one of the most basic things that many Asperger people will excel in. Writing as well. The reason why we're good at writing is because we have this very visual mind. We are able to think in pictures and movies sometimes, and because of that, we're actually able to see even a framework of a story or a piece of research work even before we do it. So once I knew that I had that ability, I was actually able to, way outwrite people once I knew how to type versus, writing manually, because nowadays everyone types on a keyboard, right? So being able to type very fast, I can actually really very quickly put down ideas to paper, and, coming into dictation-based typing, I could even take that to an even higher level. So even in like professional correspondence these days, I use the dictate function a lot, and I think that's something that all the Asperger individuals, Aspies out there that like writing already. Let's say you're doing writing in school, you like that. If you go into a career that's in writing, let's say it could be in journalism, it could be in book writing, and it could be in ghostwriting, and I highly encourage you and even review using the text to speech, because this is really going to help put your creative force into overdrive. And also like things like, because we're so good with like remembering the stuff and details, like history, like historian, working in archives, library. I mean, it might sound a little bit boring and might not actually pay so well in certain places, like for library, but it really depends on which country, because in some countries it could actually pay more. But historians, archivists, these are very good jobs for people who are good, with these kind of skills as us, right? So, and at the same time, you just saw my cat leap from behind me to right over here, and pet grooming, working with pets, it could be a private, pet cafe or something. Working with pets and animals is also good, because for us we find I know some of you might agree with me, like we relate better with animals than people sometimes, and at the same time it's also very de-stressing. Um, so constantly putting yourself into a very healthy environment of reduced pressure and high creation that supports our skills. Next, problem solving. Any careers that involve problem solving and schematic thinking. So naturally, as Aspies, we are actually very suited for things like engineering, project management, because there's a requirement for like problem solving, schematic thinking, to put things in an order. because we have this ability again to kind of see things before they take root, to visualize stuff, and to kind of simulate in our heads. So this makes us very good at these things. But when I mentioned about project management, okay, this is a little bit of a sensitive thing, because to get to the point that you can manage projects also means that you have to either be able to work with people very well, or at the same time you need people who can support you to implement these things. So we look at a lot of uh, the tech company, you know, big time entrepreneurs like Elon Musk, you know, or even Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. Well, these people, they are very individualistic people, and I think Elon Musk has actually acknowledged himself as an Aspie as well. So what he's I mean, he meets with a lot of people, but at the same time, he also knows the power of team. Um, he he's actually very in some ways controlling, because he knows the outcome. But for us, and actually for myself too, like project one of the things that Asperger individuals need to know is that um, as much as we like to do things individually, but if we want to actually do business, we can. Okay, it's not just for those of you who don't just simply want a job or a career, but you actually want like something bigger, an enterprise, a business. Can you do that? Yes, you can. You need people that you can trust. You need people that cover up for your shortcomings, and you need to create work-based relationships that are based on interdependencies. Why? Because some people, they may not be able to have the skill of that long-term mindset. They may not have the ability to forecast, to simulate, but on the other hand, you do. So let them take charge of the interpersonal components. And in my previous video, I mentioned that stimming is like a huge issue for me, still is today. It's a lot better than it was before. I am much better at high pressure situations than I was maybe a few years ago, but I still regard it as a challenge sometimes. So therefore, it's very important to have team that can support you to cover up for those skills. So it's also very important to at the start of starting out a project with a team of people, that you know each other's strengths and weaknesses. So, for example, a certain team member very good at speaking out to the public, okay, but not very good at planning stuff. So you can actually be the mastermind for this person. Um, Someone else has not very good problem solving, but at the same time, they are good at coming up with um, you know, uh, you know, various ideas and brainstorming. So you can actually work with these people to, basically use your ability to simulate to find out what works and what doesn't. Because some of these people may be able to create, they may be able to mass bomb you with solutions. And out of the many, you can find a few that work, and you have the ability to, literally metal detect or idea detect, or pick the winning idea out of the many. So these are some of the things that we are good at. Uh, Debating positions as well. As long as you're able to frame the pressure to be, the pressure to perform. Like for us, we work in a very logical way. So we take we take pressure in different. One of the um, I think like in public relations we can be good, but at the same time, there are certain things that sometimes, like again in my previous video I talked about high overwhelming stimulus in a social context. Um, like sometimes you've been told, like, okay, in relationships, why do Aspies not do so well in personal relationships, romantic relationships, until we've been given a lot of adaptation, mind reframing. It's also because sometimes, like, let's say, girl comes to us, a spouse comes to me, she has this problem. What she really wants is we have to learn to read between the lines, identify the true intention of what the other person is trying to say. Because once you're able to do this, then you can kind of recognize. But this is actually kind of tough. So like I think being in crime like crime careers like detective work, police work, this could actually help you develop these skills. But is that where you want to be? No. I highly encourage people, Asperger individuals, to kind of try to reinforce certain aspects as well. Yes, of course, we can work in areas of our strengths, but it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that we're going to be totally complete. If you also want to be a personally complete person, it's also good in reinforce the areas of weakness too, to a point that you don't have you don't have openings. You're solid. You're a complete character. So coming back to like the earlier social context issue, like sometimes what a spouse, a girlfriend really wants is company, but we give like a solution that pisses her off. It's like you're sometimes you just go you are I hate it when you're doing your work and stuff. So you're thinking that what is your problem? I'm working on this project. I'm so serious on it. I want to finish it, and so we can all have a good we can all have a good time as a family. But you don't have time for me. It's like it's kind of we have to manage. We have to be able to see where they're coming from as well. I'll be doing more content about this, like reading between the lines, and I think it's really really important. Um, and anyway, I know this video today is getting a bit long. I want to bring the reading in between the lines for a new topic. So I hope do join me on my next video. And in the meantime, I hope I've given a good overall view, giving you some ideas. And of course, if some of you feel that makes sense, just give me a comment down below this video, and run through with me some of the things that you think that struck you. And if I didn't mention a career that you think could be good for you, but you heard something that and you suddenly got an idea that certain careers might be a good fit for yourself, but you just want additional confirmation, feel free to write me in the comments down below. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and stay tuned for my new videos. Thank you. This is Inspire at Random.